Hey guys, so I know I'm a violist. This channel is called Life from the Viola section, but I do play and teach violin as well. Okay, hear me out. Some of us are violists teaching violin. I learned violin before I learned the viola. Not fully, I started learning the violin before I started learning the viola. Before that, I started learning the piano before that. So my progression was piano, violin, and then I found the viola, which is my favorite and my sole instrument. So, even though I am a violist, and I love being considered a violist, and Pacho is standing up for me too. My cat, Pacho, if you've never met him, he's so sweet. He's my teaching assistant. He likes to hang out here in the studio while I'm teaching and while I'm filming videos. Anyway, it's totally okay to be Whoa, dude, you agree? I think he agrees with me. Pacho, do you agree? Can violists be multi-instrumental? Is that okay? Is that a thing that we can do? Yeah, he feels very passionately about that. Okay, all this to say, I do play and teach the violin. Now, this violin is not a professional level violin at all. I actually got it for free, and eventually I'm gonna buy myself a nicer violin for teaching and for any gigs that I might have to do on the violin, which so far has really been zero, but you never know when you might need to fill in for like a second violinist or something. So anyway, this admittedly is not the nicest violin, but what I'm talking about today is a problem that happens to violinists of all levels on all different types of violins. So, has this ever happened to you? So there's this kind of phenomenon. I don't know if anyone has a scientific or like physics-based answer about this, but what happens is that we're playing on a different string and then we go over to the E string and we just hear this really grating, horrible whistling sound on the E string.
And now I want to sit back and relax and enjoy my evening. When all of a sudden I hear this agitating, grating voice.
So from what I've researched and also from my lived experience, this tends to happen when we're going from another string. The E string might be vibrating a little bit along with it, and our bow just grabs the E string while it's already kind of vibrating, and it creates this awful sound that we hear. So right now I have Vision solo strings on my violin. I usually just buy string sets for my instruments. On my viola, I use Ava Prazzi's. I use the full set. Sure, I could probably find a nicer sounding A string somewhere, but I already have problems on the A string of my viola. It is way louder and a lot brighter than the rest of my instrument, and I've had tonal adjustments done on it already. I've gotten it about as good as I can get it, and I've also trained myself technique-wise to approach the A string in a way that makes it sound better. But back to the violin, I usually just buy string sets because it's more cost effective and less wasteful than, buying a string set to save some money and then also buying an E string, or, spending more on buying 3 strings from one set and 1 string from another. But today I am going to try out my first non-whistling E string, and I'm super excited about it because I've always wanted to try one, but I always forget to look into it and order one when I go to buy strings, which is always when string websites are having sales. I never, ever, ever pay full price for strings, okay? They have gotten so incredibly, stupidly, disgustingly expensive, and it makes me really upset because, some musicians have a lot of money, but for many of us, it's a gross expense to buy, 1 or 2 sets of strings a year, or, if you're a professional playing all the time, then, you might replace your strings every 3 months or so, and then that's 4 sets of strings per year, and that is way more money than any of us want to spend on this kind of thing. So for my first ever non-whistling E string, I went with the D'Addario Kaplan E string. It is the Solutions Non-Whistling E string. at the 4/4 scale length, of course, because I play on a full-size violin. It is aluminum wound, medium tension. So here is in the bag. So the winding up in the peg box is green. The winding down by the tailpiece is black and white. And then it does come with a little extender that you can attach to your tailpiece if you would like. So let's put this non-whistling E string on and we'll see if it does the trick. The Kaplan string feels thinner and like stringier. You can see it's bouncier. Hopefully you can see on camera. If I look at them right next to each other, it almost looks thicker than the Vision string. I'm sure it's like whatever is less than millimeters. I'm sure it's less than a difference like that. But the Vision Solo E string has less movement to it and it feels more wiry. Like it's harder to bend and move around. This one just kind of bends to my will. Let's actually put this on now. All right. Stayed mostly in tune. It feels really solid on there. Like it feels like it has a lot of tension, which is interesting. So I know I showed you the wrapping and winding earlier in the video, but here's how it looks with my Vision Solo strings. I like that this coordinates over here. I don't know if it's the most professional looking, but for now I'll think of it as a fun pop of color, and it's, like I said earlier, it's not like I'm actually going around gigging, especially on this violin right now. So, I mean, it's all good. So let's see how it sounds. No whistle yet. I know it's only been like a minute. Those like 2 or 3 scales, but I think that it's blending really nicely with my other strings. And again, I got this violin for free. It's a cheap instrument. This is not a professional grade instrument at all, but I think that I'm getting a pretty nice sound out of it, all things considered, and the tone is blending nicely, even if it's not the best, most prettiest, sweetest tone ever. It's blending with itself, which is really, really nice. Okay, we're gonna keep manipulating this and try to create a whistling atmosphere. So we've done a little bit of playing. I haven't heard any whistles. There was maybe 1 or 2 times where it kind of felt like it was going to, but it didn't actually. So my first impression is good. It's blending really nicely. I haven't heard anything, but I'll check back with you in a couple days after I've taught a bunch of violin lessons on it, and I'll let you know what I find. All right, it is Thursday now. I've officially taught all of my violin lessons for the week with this new non-whistling E string, and I'm ready to share my thoughts, I think. So, no news is good news. I haven't gotten any whistling sounds on my E string this week, and I have really tried to put it to the test, just going back and forth between any string to the E string, and I haven't gotten anything. I do think that it blends pretty well on my violin. I liked it a little bit better in that sense right when I put it on. Hold on, it's not in tune. For some reason, I feel like my violin is louder now. I don't know if it's because I messed with the bridge angle a little bit, or if the string is somehow doing that or something, but it seemed louder, maybe a little bit brighter. So here's just a 3-octave scale to give you an idea of the tone all the way through the range. It does feel pretty even to me across the violin. Now I'm gonna just go back and forth between a bunch of strings and put it to work for you to see. I can really feel that vibrating in my hand and in my body, which is really cool. I usually only really get that on my viola because, you know, the tones are so much richer and lower that they really vibrate, but... I'm trying to really beat it up right now. Okay, well, you heard there was no whistling E in all of that, or at least the abbreviated version that I edited for you guys. Now, I'm not totally sure about the tone up high. I played something pretty high up yesterday, and I was sight reading, so it was not perfect, but it also just didn't sound very good. So this is a little bit from a Kreutzer Etude. It does go up high, and I know it, so... Not to be dramatic, but that's making my head hurt. Okay, and here is a bit of Tchaikovsky Italian Capriccioso. And this one stays up high on the E string. We'll see how much I remember after a couple months. So I hope that gives you a sense of how it blends on my violin and how the higher notes sound. Now, playing things that I actually know how to play, I don't think that it sounds too bad up there. I do think that overall my violin sounds a little bit brighter than it used to, which is interesting, and I don't know if I love that because, to say it for the 50th time, I'm a violist and I love warm, rich, chocolatey sounds. So, love the violin too, but viola is my instrument, you know. Overall, a weekend, I'm happy with it. It has gone flat just a little bit, but it's nothing like other strings that I regularly use and need to tune constantly every day for like a week or two. This, it goes like a couple cents flat almost every day. And it's only been basically 3 days because I put it on Monday evening since I've had this, and it feels fairly solid. It's just barely a little turn to the right with a fine tuner and it's perfectly in tune again. So those are my thoughts and first impressions. Now, if I have any updates, I will probably just make a reel or TikTok or short video just to give you guys that update. I don't think it needs a full video, but so far I'm happy. I am glad that I don't have to be embarrassed by the whistling E sounds in lessons anymore because it is so embarrassing. I feel like I can't play an instrument when that happens. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, that's the instrument, not me. But like, are the students actually believing that? I don't know. But you know, it's just so embarrassing. I go to play something nice for a student and I'm sounding good. It's going well. And then suddenly, E string, and it's so embarrassing. I don't like it. This is also a great test because some of my students struggle with a whistling E sound. Some of them do not. So I don't know if it's kind of an instrument anatomy thing or how you approach the string with the bow, or if it's just a hit or miss kind of thing. You don't know when it's going to strike. So I probably will at this point recommend for violin students to get one of these. And I may experiment with different brands in the future because, like I said, this one was only like $7. I did get it on sale, but it was only like $1 or $2 off from its usual price. I did get it from Johnson String because they had the best shipping price and they were having a sale. Thank you for watching, and thank you for sticking along with this if you're a violist. I know the E string is not our favorite topic, but it's for the best. I'm making the E string sound better. I'm trying to get a better sounding E string. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, give it a like, and I will see you again in 2 weeks. I'm so tired of hearing the open E right now. Please, I want my C string back.